I now take pleasure in introducing you to a very dear friend and fellow practitioner, Rod Edwards. He is amazingly wise and has made great strides in working with drug and substance abuse over the last 10 years. We will chat and take you through the various insights gleaned through our experiences as practitioners. Warm greetings and welcome, Rod. It's indeed wonderful to be doing this recording with you.
Thanks, Rahila, for giving me this chance. It's lovely to be here. Could I just start by asking you a question? Basically, what is the motivation and inspiration behind this recording?
As you know, over the past 2 decades, I had the privilege of training and learning various skills and techniques, which allowed me to facilitate others in releasing emotions, thus developing their emotional and spiritual intelligence. Facilitating individuals of all ages in my private practice and in the outreach projects, and witnessing their spiritual growth and inner transformation became a source of fulfillment and major contribution to my own personal transformation. Also, as you know, most people cannot afford conventional psychological counseling and other interventions. Alternate practitioners like ourselves and practices also do not come cheap, considering the high costs incurred in highly specialized training. This recording offers very basic tools to help those in need of some, if I can say, in the meantime intervention until they acquire more specialized help.
Yes, I know you have indeed acquired a great knowledge and experience and wisdom against this vast backdrop of your being an educationist, a social entrepreneur, and gained highly specialized training and development as a practitioner as well, and an intuitive coach and consultant. How will this transference of skills benefit South Africans and humankind as a whole?
As inspiration will have it, this outside-the-box idea came in light in the last year or so after witnessing all the strike action, student unrest and violence in South Africa after 25 years of democracy. The ongoing student unrest was like reliving the 1976 uprising again, irrespective of which government is in place. The violence and destruction is instinctive, despite the fact that the youth are offered education and the opportunities to create better conditions for themselves. So, this begs the question, why are we still being victims of the past instead of being creators of our own destiny?
Okay, so what's the message that you try to convey to those listening to this recording?
Very simply, the core message is that whatever we are thinking and feeling about the current situation on a personal level or at a social level, in the workplace and or globally, is our projection arising out of our past painful experiences, memories and programming embedded in our deep subconscious mind, which are carryovers from past generational patterns and pathologies.
Okay, so I guess it's about taking responsibility for what you're feeling in the moment of right now, this present moment. For example, our government is not providing adequate services and we're feeling left out and disadvantaged. So at a deeper level, embedded in our subconscious mind, experiencing 300 years of oppression and feeling inferior is still a silent programming, creating the present movie of deprivation and feelings of despair. And I guess the cycle is perpetuated from generation to generation, even though the new generation did not experience apartheid or deprivation as their ancestral lineage. It is inherent in their DNA. And you know, really, studies have recently shown that victims of post-traumatic stress syndrome, that the problems arising from that are actually showing up in the next generation of children and even the following generation. And I guess this is the same thing that we're experiencing here within our children in our country.
Yes, that is what we are talking about in this recording, is how are these generational patterns passed on from generation to generation. That is what we call the collective consciousness. is whatever I'm feeling, you are feeling. So in the collective consciousness of mind, we are trying to solve the world's problems and challenges from the outside. Instead, we need a shift of consciousness in order to manifest a different reality in which these problems can be easily solved.
Yeah, that's true. The time has really arrived for each of us to become aware that the key to solving social and or global issues is up to us to seek our own solutions, firstly by clearing the past and then by replacing it with significant information which is relevant to the present moment.
Very correct, Rod.
Okay, so in other words, you're saying that, or sharing, is the tried and tested formula of really experiencing emotional and spiritual intelligence.
My observations and experience in working with my private clients and with employees in businesses and in the corporate arena has clearly shown how all forms of illnesses, diseases, addictions, abuse, eating disorders, depression, ADD, ADHD, and all forms of abuse, marital and family issues, as well as personal and workplace relationships were healed.
Yes, and similarly in the work that I've been doing with my clients, particularly those with all forms of addiction, especially drugs and substance abuse, I found the same thing.
I know, Rod. Thank you for that. For me, the most amazing gift was the ability to work intuitively with mothers and unborn babies, women who suffered from postnatal depression, women who had early miscarriages during their pregnancies, and those who carried their babies to full term and lost them. The stigma associated with divorce, infertility, and single-parent family leave many people scarred. Family and society's labeling and judgment of broken homes, and or a woman or a man without a husband or wife as a result of divorce or sudden death leaves in its path utter devastation and despair for those who have no way out.
Yeah, it's truly awe-inspiring to witness the rehabilitation of individuals and even families as the human-computer hard drive is debugged, so to speak. And these are the types of issues that are behind the addictions that I work with as well, and I treat them in the same way.
Yes. Rod, also what I would like to share is, in 2015 in February, Dr. Deepak Chopra, whom also you know, is an eminent scientist, author, and leading medical practitioner. He addressed many audiences around South Africa. He spoke about how thoughts, feelings, being, and then doing are critical in experiencing well-being and a longer lifespan. These four aspects must be in alignment in order to create harmony in self, with others, nature, and on the planet.
And with all of those things, nature, etc., we can change reality by changing that inner space from which we operate. The first step, I guess, is in understanding how different qualities of attention play out to look at how we operate on that individual level.
Yes, if we have not considered our generational patterns and pathologies, our human-computer hard drive does not allow for anything new to emerge or for the current reality to be seen. And it leads to repeating past patterns, as we've seen with the student unrest and violence. And this is happening globally, where we are not sensing the future's potential by holding on to old images and experiences from the past. For example, feeling inferior and unworthy of wealth or deprivation. There's not enough.
I suppose we can even bring in here that old computer term GIGO, which means garbage in and garbage out. So whatever we put in before, if we don't take it out, it's still going to reproduce itself onwardly in our lives, causing that havoc as we go. So, how do we begin this new way of thinking?
Well, the first step is to awaken to our thoughts and emotions in clearing out old limiting belief systems and past programming stored in our human-computer hard drive, the DNA, which is divinely designed for natural ability, love. Human beings are designed to love. Our DNA is programmed with divine perfection and pure potential. Somewhere along the process of time, we have forgotten this. We keep seeking love and whatever we want from life, from our external self.
You know, looking back at what we were saying about the unrest, our Truth and Reconciliation program that we had in this country started this process, yet it didn't go far enough. It just made people aware of what was going on, but it didn't go far enough in clearing it. And so the struggle still continues within the individuals and reflects out into our outer world. So in terms of all this you've been speaking about, can you give us an example of what we're looking at here?
We can no longer use violent methods and mass action to achieve different outcomes. Having large families and teenage pregnancies is still the current status today, without clarity and wisdom for a healthier society and the planet. That is an example of past programming, which is still inherent within us.
You know, it brings up in mind that those from the various scriptures about what is carried by the parent is passed unto the children right up to 7 generations, which is an indication, unless it's dressed or addressed, it doesn't get removed. It takes 7 generations to whittle its way out of the system. So it makes sense to start looking at ways of clearing that. Yes, and beneath all the sabotaging stories and beliefs within us lies our own infinite wisdom. Okay, now you have come up with an equation, a formula, if you will. Could you therefore explain to us what you mean by the equation EQ plus SQ is greater than IQ?
It's a stunning formula, isn't it? EQ is emotional intelligence plus SQ is spiritual intelligence is greater than IQ, the logical, technical aspect, the mere acquisition of information and qualifications. Research has shown it is not about technical ability anymore. Your success in life is much more dependent on how you manage your emotions as well as those of others. Indeed, this is a great paradigm shift which could be quite different from what you might have been brought up with.
Therefore, in a nutshell, whenever some situation presents itself, if I know how to access and feel my negative emotions about it, and I'm able to release it in the moment, I become more emotionally intelligent.
Yes, Rod. So in other words, when you're feeling something in your body, you'll feel a sensation. This is an emotional charge, okay? So when there is no emotional charge, when we tackle personal and workplace issues, our spiritual intelligence is now heightened. We exude more compassion, empathy, and higher values of fairness and justice. If I can feel positive, take responsibility for how I feel about myself, about others and the world, and I have the tools to re-engineer my DNA, which is designed for natural ability, which is love, then love, as we know, transmutes all negativity. When we are consumed by love, we see and feel love in everything. We believe we can conquer whatever life throws at us, like a newlywed couple. The more my thoughts, emotions, and behavior become positive and congruent in my inner world, my outer world mirrors that. The changes taking place within me allows me to view the world more positively. I then attract more positive people and occurrences into my life. When I view myself as a miracle, I experience more miracles all around me, in my personal life and in the work environment. So when my thinking, feeling, and action becomes more amplified in a positive way, this energy field is increased, and then others start doing the same. For example, if I smile and exude positivity, I receive the same back.
Yes, you know, and what we know from the law of attraction is whatever it is you want, that's where you must focus, not what you don't want. Because
Yes.
you continue to produce, consciously or unconsciously, that where your focus is fixed. So focus on what it is you want, imagine having that, feel what it's like to have that, and hold on that until it starts to change.
Yes. Rod, I did include that in the practical application. It's on the CD. So it's a brilliant application to use repeatedly until you master that technique.